Hi everyone, welcome to Poisonous People. Today we're going to be continuing our series on diagnosing narcissistic personality disorder, and in this video we're going to be focusing on the first of the 9 criteria that are specific to narcissistic personality disorder. And that first criterion is grandiosity. We find narcissistic personality disorder on page 669 of the DSM-5. And number 1 reads as follows: has a grandiose sense of self-importance, and then they give some examples here, exaggerates achievements and talents, expects to be recognized as superior without commensurate achievements. Now, in this video, I want to do my best to explain how I personally interpret criterion number 1, because it can be easily confused with criterion number 9, which is arrogance. I see grandiosity differing from arrogance in 2 ways. Number 1, when we're talking about grandiosity is a narcissistic trait that is in relation to the self. Grandiosity refers to the narcissist's perception of themselves. They exaggerate skills and talents they have. So it's kind of like they're seeing their skills as being better than they actually are. When it comes to arrogance, I personally see arrogance as I'm better than you are. So with grandiosity, it's like if you're a good singer, maybe you're an 8, but in your mind, you think you're a 10. With arrogance, you're a good singer, but you also think you're better than all the other good singers out there. So arrogance is more externally focused toward others. Again, that's just how I interpret it. The other thing that really has importance for me when it comes to grandiosity is that grandiosity is usually rooted in fantasy thinking. And where do I get that from? Well, if you just look above criterion number 1 on the same page, it says narcissistic personality disorder is a pervasive pattern of grandiosity in fantasy or behavior. Now, another thing I will tell you is that when it says here in criterion 1, expects to be recognized as superior without commensurate achievements, there are narcissists who have achieved great success. And so I personally do not believe that if somebody has achieved great success and then they brag about it, that's not grandiosity. In my opinion, that's more arrogance. It's actually legitimate, in my opinion, to refer to narcissistic personality disorder as one of those disorders where delusions are common. Now, you might say delusions, that's pretty harsh. First, let me just clarify the difference between a delusion and a hallucination. A hallucination is when we see or hear things that aren't there. So we may see, people, we may hear voices knocking, and nobody's there. Hallucinations are more sensory based. Delusions, on the other hand, are beliefs in things that are not true. Now, when we talk about somebody being delusional, there are 2 types of delusions. There are bizarre delusions and non-bizarre delusions. Bizarre delusions, you will see more with the psychotic disorders. People think that they are Napoleon. Non-bizarre delusions are actually delusions that you and I can fall prey to in our lives, thinking that a relationship was closer than it really was. Maybe thinking that someone liked us back and they were just being friendly. Believing maybe that somebody didn't like you and misinterpreting their actions. This criterion plays a major role in the question, do narcissists know what they're doing? And every time somebody asks me that, I say, well, some do and some don't. There are some narcissists that know damn well that they're playing games with you, they're lying to you, they're playing dumb, but there actually are other narcissists who are not aware of what they're doing. And so a lot of times when they're insisting that something is a certain way, it's because they really believe that. I remember this church I used to belong to. There was a girl in that church who was grossly overweight. And she had a terrible, terrible attitude problem. She had a sense of entitlement. She was very bossy, very pushy. She was just a miserable person to be around. Her hygiene was awful. She was just very sloppy and just rude and nasty. And so people avoided her like the plague. She often accused our friend group in church of being shallow. And she would say to us, "You guys are shallow because you base everything on appearance. And the reason you don't like me is because I'm fat." And we were like, that's not true. We don't feel that way. I mean, it was true that we didn't like her, but it wasn't true why she claimed. She was deluding herself into thinking that her weight was what was causing people to back away from her, when in reality, it was her attitude. And, proof of that was that there was another young lady in our friend group at that church who was pretty much the same size as this really unpleasant girl. And everyone loved her. I mean, she was like America's sweetheart. Everyone gravitated toward this girl. So you can't say that all of us are shallow and we base, the people that we like, or it's all based on appearance. We go for the pretty people, the skinny people. This girl was so negative and so nasty and didn't have any insight as to maybe I'm doing something wrong. Maybe there's something about me that's turning people off. She put it on this external characteristic, her weight, and then she blamed everyone else for why she couldn't have any friends. In my opinion, that type of behavior is tied directly to criteria number 1, the grandiosity, because this person is elevating her own personality as better than it really is. Grandiosity, in my book, is strictly how the narcissist sees themselves in relation to themselves. I hope this helps. Join me in the next video as we continue to progress through the criteria of narcissistic personality disorder. I'm Jen Guerriero, and this is Poisonous People. Thanks for watching.